everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Weekly Catch. I'm Alex Valbergs.
I'm Barchitta.
And we're going to jump right into it, talk about a few of the biggest stories in sports right now. Indiana lost again last night. Not that they haven't lost a lot this year, but the few times they have, they've been number one. This is the sixth time number one's lost. I mean, we talked about it a week or two ago. March Madness is just around the corner. What do you think this means for March Madness? That number one just keeps on losing. There's no dominant team at all, like we talked about with Kentucky last year. It was kind of like a conclusion that we knew Kentucky was going to go to the Final Four with all that talent. But like nobody's stepping up and saying we're number one.
Right. I mean, like last year, we first round overall pick Anthony Davis was, like you said, we knew that Kentucky was going to be who's going to beat Kentucky. This year, we had no idea. Like we've said on millions of times in the show that any team can beat anybody, and this shows again last night with Indiana losing. You know, Syracuse again lost on Monday night to Marquette, and just doing the same thing. March Madness is going to be insane this year. So
yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for it because, like we said, I don't even know if we should fill out a bracket.
No, I don't even think I am either, honestly.
I always pick Syracuse because I'm a little biased and I get it wrong.
Right.
But we thought Indiana with Oladipo and Zeller, maybe they have those stars to keep them at number one, but they lose again. It's just the Big Ten's real tough. The Big East is tough again.
Always. And
the tournament it's going to be as good as ever. I'm really excited for it.
Just right around the corner. February is ending. March is going to be right around the corner.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Moving on to baseball, Curtis Granderson got beamed in spring training. And he's going to be out until at least May. They're saying around 10 weeks. 10 weeks. They're broken bone. What does this mean for the Yankees?
Well, obviously, 41 home runs, 42 home runs consistently really shapes because, the Yankees coming into this year, not having an A-Rod already with no power. So you have Garner, Ichiro, a lot of guys who are just strict contact hitters. So Granderson brought that power and those RBIs. So really it's just going to have to put a load on Teixeira and Cano to really carry this team, through the power. So
yeah, it really does because
affects the Yankees.
They lost Swisher. Granderson's out for over a month into the regular season now. They don't have Russell Martin. They don't have Raul Ibanez clutch hitting. He was huge for them in the postseason last year.
One of the best.
They're losing all these home runs. They're not gaining anything. They were real quiet in the offseason.
Yeah, obviously the Yankees been built on signing big name bats.
They haven't, like we said, they haven't had that big offseason since Sabathia, Teixeira, Burnett.
Right. Exactly, yeah. And, Hamilton, obviously, we talked about last week going to the Angels. He was the biggest bat in the offseason. I mean, they signed Kevin Youkilis, so I'm pretty sure the Yankees need a big year out of him, because obviously with Granderson now, because, you don't want to start – it's not too long of a slump where they're going to be without him, but you don't want to start off, slow in the gate. You want to have a good start.
Yeah,
so
well, we usually talk about the Yankees giving these $100 million contracts out. Now we're talking about them signing Kevin Youkilis and Ichiro, who are, great players years ago, are kind of getting past their prime. The Blue Jays made all the big splashes in the offseason in this division, and maybe for the first time in I don't know how long that the Yankees fans should be worried. I mean, I still might pick them to win the wild card because they're the Yankees and they always find a way to win. And I do like Sabathia. They're going to get Michael Pineda back in June or July.
Hughes has to step up again.
Hughes has to step up. Kuroda pitched really well last year. So maybe for once the Yankees have to rely on their pitching instead of that
definitely play some small ball instead of just saying, okay, we have Curtis Granderson, we have Alex Rodriguez, we'll just hit a couple of home runs a game. I don't think that can happen anymore. You got to play some small ball. So
maybe for once the Yankees will be small balling it with bunting and pitching, and hopefully they play good defense with Jeter back at short. But we'll see. And moving to the NFL, Alex Smith was just traded to the Chiefs today.
Yep.
The Chiefs have the number one pick. Some people were thinking that they were going to draft Geno Smith, another Smith, but now that they have Alex Smith, it doesn't look like that. But what do you think about Alex Smith? Do you think this is a smart move for the Chiefs?
Well, personally, I think it's a good move because you got to again first overall pick. You're rebuilding the whole franchise right now, so it starts at the quarterback. Obviously, in all top teams, the quarterback is the guy. So what we're gonna get out of Alex Smith. You're gonna get a guy who's not gonna turn the ball over, who's not gonna lose you the game. So he's gonna consistently do what he's maybe not throw for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns like Rodgers or Brady, but he's gonna perform to not lose you the game. And so you got to put the pieces around Alex Smith, and then he'll do the job. But, the first pick, can't go wrong with Luke Joeckel, big tackle from Texas A&M. I think that's your guy. Every team, you need the quarterback and the left tackle to protect him. So
yeah, and they're worried that maybe Brandon Albert will leave and maybe they would take an offensive tackle
Yeah.
and to replace him. I also like this Sharif Floyd from Florida. He's a big defensive tackle if they're looking to go that route. But I think Jocko could be a smart option because obviously they're not going to take Geno Smith now that they got Smith.
Right.
I mean,
so Geno Smith isn't a bad pick. I like Geno Smith a lot. I think he's going to be he'll definitely be the first quarterback taken in the draft.
But
he'll definitely perform.
He's no Andrew Luck or
He's no Andrew Luck or RG3 or Cam Newton. You know, those guys we knew from, you know, right after the season, these are going to be our elite first-round picks.
Do you think giving up a second-round pick for what a lot of people have called as a game manager, do you think, you know,
I think it's worth it,
He lost his job this year. Not that I'm saying that's a bad thing because Colin Kaepernick has shown that he might be one of the best quarterbacks in the league in a year or two.
Definitely.
But, yeah.
Because like you said, because you don't know. Say they took Geno, you're going to gamble either way you go. You're going to gamble with Alex Smith. You're going to gamble with Geno Smith. So you more of a safer pick with Alex Smith, knowing that what he's going to give to the team, and you really don't know what Geno Smith can do. But hey, just say Geno Smith goes to a team and lights it up. That's the business. So but at least you know you got a solid pick in Jocko in the first overall.
And if they can build it with Smith and Jocko, and they already have Charles, and they've said that they want to re-sign Bo.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll be a nice little
Eric Berry on the defense, one of the top safeties.
And maybe they have a nice little nucleus going.
It's going to take a few years, a couple picks.
Some people picked them to win the division last year, and they have the first pick in the draft now, so maybe they're not as bad as their record says.
Yeah, we'll see. You know, like I said, football, we'll see what happens. So.
Yeah, and the scouting combine just ended. What are your opinions on the combine?
Well, you know, the whole overall thing of the combine, you know, testing the 40, how fast, how far you could jump, how high you could jump. I'm really not a big fan, personally, honestly. As you know, knowing football a lot my whole life, it's mainly the film counts. So, you know, how can you perform on film?
What you do on the field, really.
You know, you can run a 4.40. Don't get me wrong, that's very impressive. That'll get you to a lot of teams. But if you can run for 4.40 and can't, you know, break an open field, get open with routes, you know, that's going to affect you. So, you know, I really think, you know, the film doesn't lie. How a player you are off the field counts, and so other, you know, non-intangibles that you don't see with the scouting combine.
I mean, a lot of the talk was about tail in the combine, but I'm a believer in tape shows as well. But maybe, you know, sometimes the combine can be used as a tool to say, you know, if a team is really, you know, 50-50 on two guys, and one guy works out a lot better, maybe that's the tipping point. They decide that's what they use to select him.
Manti Te'o ran a 4.8 40-yard dash.
Yeah, but as we know, that's not everything. Ray Lewis ran a 4.74 or something.
I'm pretty sure Te'o, I mean, you know, obviously the national championship game wasn't his best, but he was up for the Heisman Trophy. So this guy can still play despite his 40 and all this stuff. So,
I mean, transitioning to a guy that didn't have a great combine and was very lowly drafted, Tom Brady.
Right, sixth
round pick. He signed a 3-year, $27 million extension with the Pats. What do you think this says about Brady?
It shows a lot. You know, I know not too many people are fond of Brady just because, you know, how much he's won and all this stuff. But I really like how
That's all he cares about, though.
Winning. All he cares about when he's taking. Yeah, he's taking the heat of the money and the contract to help the team, so he could pay Welker and he can pay, you know, a bunch of other guys just for the team. You know, even, you know, he's getting up in age. You know, we all know Tom Brady has plenty of money, and it's just really showing that he wants to win still.
He showed that he knows the Pats are going to have cap space problems in the future, and he's showing that I don't need to be the highest paid quarterback in the league to prove that I am the best quarterback.
Right. It's not about the money.
No, it's not about the money at all to him, and he's just showing that he wants Welker back because he knows that'll give him a better chance to win that 4th Super Bowl, because that's what he really wants.
Right.
I mean, obviously, you know, the money helps. He's still getting $27 million in extensions, and he has over $50 million in his total contract now. That's all guaranteed.
Right.
Barring injury, that doesn't matter. He's getting that
and all
money.
those contracts with Under Armour and all the endorsements.
Yeah, and he makes endorsements, and he still makes less money than his
wife. Oh yeah,
I mean, we're all a little jealous of that.
But so I really like you know, the kind of character that Brady's showing with taking the lower money. So it should see how the Pats do with it now.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I hate to say it, but it'll probably make the Pats contenders for the next.
Once again,
until he's 40 years old, they'll be contenders.
Yeah.
But that's about all we have for the weekly catch this week. For Paul Barchitta, I'm Alex Valbergs, and if you want to follow us on Twitter, My Twitter handle is @V_Bergs.
You can follow me just @Paul Barchitta. It's my first and last name. So
Yeah, if you guys want more sports updates and stuff, just check us out on Twitter. But thank you, and we'll see you next week.